Stay with us? Well, then we'll see. Okay, Northfields. Mr. Smith, we'll turn the time over to you to give us the background.
Okay. Tonight on the agenda is a proposal, and there's been quite a bit of conversation about this. I've read several letters to the editor on the way, and there's probably a few things that ought to be cleared up. One of the questions is why is this on an agenda? And I was directed by a majority of the city and county council to put this on the agenda this month, so that's why it's here. Also, in the wave, there was some mention about how this same issue was brought up several years ago in 2012. That's partly true. There was a proposal to rezone 37 acres. 37 acres right in here. In 2012, and the proposal was to rezone that from A20 to RA5. That was denied by the county council. That was not a proposal to rezone the whole Northfield. So what you have before you tonight is a proposal to rezone everything in the Northfield, which is described as property on the west side of Highway 40, all the way to River Road, except for that farthest north piece right here, which is about 40 acres. And then on the west side, all the way to the mitigation property along the Provo River. And on the south side, all the way to Midway Lane or Highway 113. And I wanted to give a little background of how rezones are determined. It's not just an arbitrary decision, hopefully, but the guidance comes from the general plan. And the general plan is put together and adopted by the county council after recommendation from the planning commission. The general plan we have in place right now was originally adopted in 2001. And the general plan is broken into many different chapters. There's land use chapters, and there are 13 different land use geographical areas in the county. The Northfields is in the central planning area, which takes up about 6,000 acres and runs all the way from the bottom of the Jordanelle Dam to Charleston. So that's the portion of the general plan that we'll be taking the recommendations from, and that are in your packets. I included the whole central planning area section of the general plan in your packets. So you have the whole thing, including all the maps. And the general plan, just like its name says, is very general. So for example, and we'll get to this later in the PowerPoint, the recommendations for the Northfields are to keep it rural, keep an open space area between Heber and Midway, and that's a general recommendation. How do you accomplish that? Well, when you move over to the zoning ordinance, for example, in the North Village says that that's zone 20 acres. And that's what the county council determined was the appropriate zone to accomplish the intent of the general plan when the general plan was adopted. So I'll be talking about the general plan a little bit, and I'll be talking about the zoning ordinance a little bit, and what tools we have to make those decisions. And just so everybody in the audience knows, the Planning Commission is a recommending body, just like I'm a staff person and make recommendations. The Planning Commission can disregard any recommendation I make. The County Council can disregard any recommendation the Planning Commission makes. The Planning Commission, or the County Council, I'm sorry, makes the ultimate decision on denials or approvals of the rezone. And that meeting with the County Council, unless this item is continued tonight, will go to the County Council next Wednesday on the 19th. And that will be a public hearing. You're all welcome to come to that. So, standard of review for rezones. And like I said, based on the language in the general plan and other applicable code sections, I'll be talking about the 820 zone as well. Rezones can be approved or denied by the county council after a recommendation by the planning commission.